Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra Unit 8 Final Exam Review. Remember to show all your work. Alright, let's take a look at number 1. Directions say to graph each quadratic equation. Well, how do I graph number 1? What do we need to find first? Well, when we're graphing a quadratic, the first thing we need to know is the vertex. So what's the vertex? Well, we have to use our equation, which is, do you guys remember? Well, to find the x, we do the opposite of b over 2 times a. So the opposite of, well, what's a? What's b? Well, remember, a, b, c. So the opposite of b is -4, so b would be 4 divided by 2 times, and a is -1, which turns into 4 over -2, which is -2. So that just tells us the x, okay? And then from there, we know to -1, 0, -3, and -4. Now, to get the rest of those answers, we have to plug into our calculator. Okay, so just y equals negative. I'm just copying exactly from the equation. Whoop, hold on a second. Okay, sorry about that. But anyways, that's our equation, and now we just need to plug in each one of those variables, okay? So first you would plug in -4 and figure out what you get for -4. Then you would do -3 and then -2. And remember, you only have to do it 3 times because these answers are going to match and these answers, okay? So why don't you guys see if you can finish the table of values, and if you're feeling risky, go ahead and plot it and let's see if you get the same thing. Okay, go ahead and pause the video and good luck. Okay, that's what I got. Hopefully you're actually doing the work and not just copying. Now, the next thing is we have to do is we have to graph this. I like to start with my vertex. -2, -1, and then just go in either direction, -1, blah, 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 -1, -2, and 0, -5. And then I'm going to go to the other side and do the exact same thing. Now, I don't know if you remember it or not, but the axis of symmetry is a line that cuts this graph in half, okay? And we get that from that -2. So x equals -2 is the axis of symmetry, and it kind of shows that the graph is split in half, okay? And then the last step is to draw it. Now, if this was a multiple choice test, the first thing I would take a look at, hey, that graph is negative. So I'm going to make sure that my graph is negative. Okay? It's a quick way to eliminate answers. All right, now, number 2, what's the nice thing about number 2? Well, it's in vertex form, okay? And in vertex form, when I'm trying to find the vertex, I take the opposite of that number, and this guy stays the same. Okay, so right away, you know what this middle value is. It's negative, or not -5, come on, 5, -4, okay? And then we do the same thing. We go 2 numbers above and 2 numbers below. Same thing. We have to figure out what those other values are, and to do that, we're going to plug it into the equation. Okay, so you need to do that twice. You got to do it for 3 or for 4 or for 6 and 7. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and see if you can draw your graph with the axis of symmetry this time. Good luck. Okay, Okay, there you go. You should have gotten 4, -2, -4, -2, and then 4. Remember, when you're drawing your graph, try to make the lines as smooth as possible. Don't make it look like a V. All right. Moving on down. Number 3 says to find the vertex. Okay, so the vertex is the middle point. So we're going to use the vertex formula, which is the opposite of B over 2 times A. So there's my A, there's my B, and there's C. So first step is to find the vertex. So x equals the opposite of b. The opposite of -6 is +6. And then 2 times 3. Now, if you're plugging this all in your calculator, make sure you follow order of direction or order of operations correctly. Because depending on how you put it in your calculator, if you just do 6 divided by 2 times 3, I get 9. But if I do 6 divided by, in parentheses, 2 times 3, I get a completely different answer. Okay, so which one's correct? You don't know? Well, let's do it. Order of operation, I gotta do the bottom first. 2 times 3 is 6, and then we get that x equals 1. Okay? So now that we know that what x equals, we have to figure out what y equals. Okay, and now we're gonna plug in 1 into our calculator. So why don't you guys go ahead and do that? Now I'm putting my answer over here because it asks us for a vertex, and the vertex is a point. What did you get? Well, I'm going to do this without a calculator. It's 1. 3 times 1 is 3. 6 times 1 is 6. 3 minus 6 plus 15. You should have gotten 12. So our point, the vertex, is 112. All right, 4. Find the y-intercept. Okay, the y-intercept is where it crosses the y-axis. We don't have a good one. But right here, if you look up a little bit, that's my y-intercept. Okay, and at that y-intercept, what does x equal? 0. Okay, so when we come back down here for the y-intercept, we know that x equals 0. So y equals -22. Okay, sorry, we're having some technical difficulties here, but we're plugging in 0 for x. Now don't take all your time in your calculator and plug this in, because you know what 0 squared is. 0 squared is 0, and 0 times -22 is 0. So that cancels. -15 times 0 is, yes, 0. And we're left with y equals 34. Now, our answer isn't y equals 34. We want the intercept. Okay, intercept is a point. That's why it ends in PT. So our intercept, x is 0, and y is 34. All right, on to solving. Now, when we're solving, we need one side to equal to 0. So we have to take a look. Which one of those is smaller? Yeah, the 10, and that's the one that I want to move. So if we're going to move that 10 x squared to the other side, I have to make sure that I move that -24 as well, or the +24 as well. Everything on the right ends up canceling, and we get 0. 11 minus 10 is 1, so we have 1x squared minus 2x minus 24. And now we need to solve this. So when we're solving, I want numbers that multiply to get to -24 and add to get to -2. If you need to start writing down all of the factors. Go ahead and do it. Do you guys know how combination works? Yeah, hopefully you're saying 4 and 6. But which one's negative? Yeah, the 6 is negative. Oh, sorry, not a frowny face, it's a happy face, because they both work. Now we can do the shortcut. So we get that x plus 4 and x minus 6 equals 0. Let's actually make that look like a 0 and not a 6. And now when we're solving, everything with a variable gets set equal to 0. Some of you, we talked about the shortcut where you just take the opposite. Okay, so we get x equals negative 4 and a positive 6. Doesn't matter what order we put them in? No, just know that in a test, they're going to be in order from least to greatest. All right, number 6. Now, when it's set up in Vertex form like this, we're going to solve by what method? SADMAP, okay? We want to get the x all by itself. So to do that, the first thing that we're going to do is get rid of addition or subtraction, which means that 10. So I'm going to subtract 10 to both sides. Okay, and after we subtract 10 to both sides, what do we get? Oh, is this not working? Ay, ay, ay. Okay, guys, sorry. So due to technical difficulties, we're going to be doing this on a separate sheet of paper now. You guys can still do it on your notes. Anyways, we subtract the 10 to each side, and then we get 16. So we're not done yet because, well, there's still a lot of stuff to do. Well, what do we do next? I'm not going to distribute that 4 and we're solving. Okay, that's multiplication. To get rid of multiplication, I divide. And I'm going to divide both sides by 4. So then we get x minus 4 squared equals, or yeah, squared. 16 divided by 4 is 4. Okay, we're almost done. How do I get rid of a square root? Or I'm sorry, I just said the answer. How do I get rid of an exponent? You take the square root, Mr. Grice. Sorry. I gotta stop giving you guys answers. Now, the only problem with that is the square root of 4 gives us a negative 2, but it also gives us a positive 2. And this is where we have to be smarter than our calculators. Okay, so we have 2 equations now to solve. We have x minus 4 equals negative 2, and x minus 4 equals positive 2. So when you solve those two, we get our answers of x equals 2. And on the right, when you add 2 to both sides, we get x equals 6. And that's our answer. So I'm going to go ahead and cut it right there just because this computer is really making me upset and I'm going to need to restart everything. But those are the first 6 problems. Video number 2 is going to go through problems 7 and 8 and the questions on the back. If you have any questions, flag down Ms. Carranza or Mr. Grice, myself. We would love to help you out. All right, guys, thanks for watching.